It is a beautiful day here in New York City. Going to be a great night as well. Good night for Yankees baseball. And the fans that are lining up on 161st Street, another big crowd expected here at the ballpark as My Nine presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the defending World Series champion New York Yankees against the Seattle Mariners in the first of three from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball along with Al Leiter. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankee road trip, they took 2 out of 3 against the Diamondbacks and then took 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. It wasn't easy against L.A. In fact, in the rubber game on Sunday, they were down by 4 in the 9th inning, a game they would go on to win 8-6. But getting to the 8-6 was pretty exciting.
It sure was, and it really off of a very tough pitcher in their closer, Jonathan Broxton. Chad Huffman going the other way, scoring Cano and Posada. Ethier throwing homer, easily scoring those 2 runs. They're down by 1 run. Then Colin Curtis up next. Great at bat, long at bat, a lot of pitches. Grounds the ball to James Loney. Loney quickly steps on first. Curtis Granderson scores safely, tie ball game. Next inning, Robinson Cano with his 15th home run going the other way, making this ball game 8-6. Exciting game to close it out. The great Mariano Rivera gets a little ground ball to Derek Jeter, throwing over to second base. What a Yankee win. Great series out in Los Angeles.
And it was the Yankees' 11th win of interleague play this year. They went 11-7. They hit .254, which wasn't that great. They didn't pitch that well either, but they ended up winning 11 of the 18 games. Let's look at tonight's pitching matchup brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Pretty good pitching matchup. Phil Hughes 10-1 for the Yankees, 3.17 against Cliff Lee of the Mariners, 6-3, 2.39. Phil Hughes pitching for the first time since being skipped over as they start to work in innings limits.
Yeah, and this start against the Mets, his only really blemishes were against Jose Reyes, a leadoff home run. Then he ended up giving up a 2-run homer. But I'll tell you, Phil Hughes, when he settles down, uses all of his pitches as he did against the Mets. He ended up going 7 innings, 5 hits, and the 3 runs. The 2 home runs were the only blemish, as I say. Backdoor curveball, uses his changeup sparingly. Very impressive season so far for Phil Hughes.
Hasn't pitched in 10 days. It'll be interesting to see how he rebounds. One of the best pitchers in baseball on the mound for the Mariners. A lot of scouts will be in the stands. We'll tell you why when we get back right here on My Nine. In the American League at 2.39. Andy Pettitte of the Yankees is tied for 4th at 2.72. Welcome back to Yankees baseball. You know him. That's Al Leiter. I'm Michael Kay. So let me ask Al, we've seen Cliff Lee pitch. He's pitched big games. He was great in the World Series last year. What makes him good, though?
He's got 4 pitches, Michael. I think what's so impressive about him is that he doesn't walk anybody. The fact that he's got 4 walks in over 86 innings is very impressive. In his last 3 starts, he's completed, in the last 4 starts, he's completed 3 of them. This guy is a horse. 4 pitches, what I mean, fastball. He'll elevate with 91 or 92. He's not afraid. He comes at him. As you say, Michael, he's postseason tested. This guy's legitimate. 2008 Cy Young Award winner, front-end starter for any club.
And that's why there's going to be a lot of scouts in the stands chance tonight with the trade deadline approaching. Ichiro Suzuki's going to lead off for Seattle. Great hitter, great fielder. Lineups, first pitch, baseball, and Ichiro next on My 9. Chase, now with over 15,000 ATMs nationwide. Chase, what matters? And by McDonald's, head to McDonald's for a refreshing large sweet tea on the dollar menu. Prices and participation may vary. John Isner is on the mound. Who's John Isner? I'm going to tell you. He just took part in the longest game in tennis history at Wimbledon. He beat Nicolas Mahut in 11 hours and 5 minutes, the longest match ever. And the final game, 70-68 in the fifth set. Amazing. He ended up losing his next match, obviously exhausted, but it really took place over a period of 3 days, and the Yankees honoring him by having him throw out the first pitch, and he will remain here to enjoy the game between the Yankees and the Mariners. I'm talking there with Mick Kelleher, and that really was an amazing. Imagine 11 hours, 5 minutes.
How did they not make two mistakes in a row?
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. Well, the Yankees have taken the field. Let's take a look at the Seattle Mariners starting lineup. It's brought to you by Volkswagen, brought to you by your Tri-State area Volkswagen dealers. Visit tristatebw.com. Ichiro Suzuki, the right fielder, leads off. Batting second and playing second, Sean Figgins. Russell Branyan, the first baseman, hits third. Cleaning up and DHing Milton Bradley. Jose Lopez, the third baseman, bats fifth. Franklin Gutierrez in center field will hit sixth. Batting seventh and playing shortstop, Jack Wilson. Rob Johnson catches. He's going to hit eighth. And Michael Saunders in left field will bat ninth. The Mariners have a lot of trouble scoring runs.
And on the mound, 24-year-old Phil Hughes. Last week, June 24th, he turned 24. What a season so far for Phil Hughes. Look at the fantastic record, 10-1. Very respectable 3.17 ERA in the American League, especially. Look at the hits to innings. 68 hits to 82 in the third innings. Fantastic.
Now let's take a look at the New York Yankees pitcher scouting report brought to you by the KFC 14-piece fan feast. When your kid's game time leaves no time to cook, now at KFC.
Well, I say too strong tonight, Michael. We'll watch early on if he's overthrown a little bit. His last start was 10 days ago against the Mets in a win. He went 7 innings. Phil and CC at home, each of them have won their last 10 regular season decisions at the stadium. And don't forget the changeup. If you're a little strong as a pitcher, it'll slow your body down. He throws occasional changeups. It'd be good to see if he works it in early in the game.
Well, Phil Hughes is ready. Digging in his Ichiro, you could tell that lighter is fired up and ready. So let's do it here at the stadium on a beautiful Tuesday evening. Hughes deals, and the pitch is swung on and foul back, and we are underway. Mariners a disappointment this year. They are in last place in the American League West at 31-44. And they're 15 games off the pace. You see Ichiro, another great year, 333, which is sixth in the American League. That one is drilled down the right field line and foul.
Boy, Michael, disappointment to say the least. I thought they were going to be a team that was right on the cusp. They lost over 100 games 2 years ago. Last year, over 500. Made some moves, mostly for defensive purposes when they brought in Cliff Lee. great 1-2 tandem. It just hasn't happened for them offensively.
Don Wakamatsu, their manager, the 0-2, pitches high. How about this for stat? Ichiro's played 1,501 games in the big leagues. He has 2,132 hits. You know that Pete Rose, the same number of games, 1,873 hits. So he's been unbelievable. Pitches a check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, said Rob Drake. And Ichiro down on strikes.
Wow, big strikeout. Tough hitter. 9 years in a row, over 200 hits. Let's see. This will be a good angle. Oh, yes, he did. Way out front. He looks all unorthodox, but really he stays balanced. Hitting coaches will say his head is in between his shoulders. He thought he didn't go. Yes, he did.
You know, he didn't break the wrist, but, you know, if he hits the ball, it's going to be a line drive to left.
Well, the barrel definitely went beyond the front part of the plate. Still not sure exactly the interpretation of a check swing.
Pitch to Sean Figgins is low. Now, they signed Figgins to a big money free agent deal, and he has not had the season that they had hoped. 232. He's really been out of the gate very slow. And the Mariners thought it was going to be a double-edged positive because they took him from their division rivals, the LA Angels, and they filled in a spot on their roster in their infield, but he's really under everything he's ever done. Look at the previous seasons that he's had with the Angels, and here he is at 232. And you know what? There was a built-in problem right there, Al. Figgins is a leadoff batter, and Ichiro's a leadoff batter. So you're taking one of them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was talking with Alonzo Powell about that, and he says, no, absolutely not. He's a professional hitter. I think part of it, Michael, is that there's some players that want to justify their contract. And in this...
High fly ball to Huffman for the second out.
And in this case here, as Michael said, he got a nice contract, a 4-year deal, and just trying to justify it. $36 million. Leaving Anaheim, and you know, when you have an entire offense that struggles, and the onus is kind of on you because you're the big sign, and you struggle early, it just gets worse. He has been hitting better of late,
and the team's been playing a little bit better of late. In interleague play, they were 9-9. In June, they're 12-13, but they got off to such a bad start. Russell Branyan, who had a good year for the Mariners last year, actually was just traded back to Seattle from Cleveland as Seattle tries anything to get some offense. Russell Branyan, the only player to hit the Mohegan Sun bar out there in center field, the glass in front of there, and he did that last year. One fouled away. Tonight's closed captioning is brought to you by your local Lexus dealer.
Well, this move here, Michael, was curious because of where they are in the standing. Certainly, it looks like they're not going to win this division. The fact that they're 15 games out of first place, and then to bring back Russell Branyan, there's talk about Cliff Lee being traded, even though it was only a $2 million sign.
That one is looped into shallow left, and that is going to dunk in front of Huffman for a base hit. So a bloop single for Branyan. 15 games out right now. That's 5 behind the third place team, the Mariners, and the Rangers. I mean, they just dominated in interleague play, and the Angels have been playing very well, 22-9 since May 25th. So although the Mariners have been at 500, the other teams are pulling away from them.
You know, and I think because of the amount of teams that, you know, if you are Jack Zarensik, the GM of the Mariners, do you believe that these teams will continue to play as well as they have? And also, too, when you have a 1-2 tandem, Michael, and you know this with King Felix and Cliff Lee tonight, you have good pitching. Doug Fister's been a nice find as well. You're in the game, and I think they're going to find out a lot this month as to whether they continue to press on.
Now, Milton Bradley has been a huge disappointment for Seattle. They took a chance, they took somebody's problem and traded that other team their problem. But Carlos Silva's turned into a really good pitcher for the Cubs, and Milton Bradley, 205, had to go on the DL to work out some issues. And that's not what they expected out of Bradley. They felt that the low-stress, low-pressure situation in Seattle would be perfect for him, and it hasn't worked out that way.
Yeah, he's pressed all along, even in these last 10 games, Michael, 129 batting average.
The 1-2. Hit sharply to second. On one hop, Cano makes the play, goes to Teixeira, and that'll do it for Hughes in the first. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. It's the Yankees coming up to bat against Cliff Lee. The Seattle Mariners pitcher scouting report brought to you by Toshiba, the laptop expert.
If I say the Yankees number, he's 4-0 in his last 4 games in the Bronx, and then the great World Series with the Phillies, 2-0 with the 2-8-1 against the Yankees. Impeccable command. I just mentioned the 4 walks and 86 2/3, 76 strikeouts. How about this? 19 strikeouts for every 1 walk. What a great strikeout to walk ratio. And then former Cy Young there, moving from Emerald City. Just speculation. There's a chance that he will be traded come July 31st trade deadline.
Pitch to Jeter's upstairs. I think he's going to be the most desired pitcher on the market. You talk about Oswalt. Oswalt still owed $16 million next year. This guy is working on a $9 million deal. You get him at the halfway point, you only owe him $4.5 million bucks. As Jeter grounds it to Wilson, 1 away.
You don't think Jack Zarensic, the general manager of the Mariners, thinks that also, Michael? I'm sure. And just talking to some of the folks that cover the club, they say that depending upon the deal, and they know what type of talent, young talent they want for him, a deal could be pulled at any time from here right on out through July 31. The trade deadline has to be made before that, before you having to clear waivers.
I was told the one thing that they're looking for, Al, they've got to get a young, major league ready catcher, because that's what they're lacking. So you've got to have a young catcher in your farm system. And then people right away talk about the Yankees, who have 3 outstanding young catchers in their system, Montero, Romine, and Sanchez. But the Yankees have never liked to acquire a guy that they could get as a free agent at the end of the year. So the Yankees certainly don't need a starter either. But there are teams out there that desperately need it. There's a lot of rumors about the Philadelphia Phillies trying to reacquire him, because they might be a pitcher short. The Mets, the Cardinals, the Twins. So there are going to be a lot of teams bidding for this guy.
Dodgers?
I just don't know if the Dodgers can pick up the salary. But the Twins have a young catcher who's supposed to be a phenom in their system, and you know what? They've got Joe Mauer. So those are the possible destinations right there. And all of them are in second or third place, so they might need that one thing to push them over the top. That one is driven deep to left, off the bat of Swisher. Going back, Saunders looking up. See ya! Home run, Nick Swisher. Yankees up 1-0.
Nick Swisher getting a fastball on the inside part of the plate, his 12th home run of the year. This ball looked like it was up enough, certainly for Nick Swisher's liking. This ball ends up cutting middle of the plate, tried to set up away, see where Rob Johnson, the catcher, was. Knew it right off the bat. Long way here to left field. Just the 4th home run Cliff Lee has allowed this season.
Here's Mark Teixeira. The pitch is upstairs. Let's take a look at tonight's sweet swing of the game, brought to you by Hershey Park, and this is a sweet swing.
Foot down, hands inside, connects out front.
And the pitch to Teixeira is a strike. And Swisher needed that. He had 1 hit in his last 14 at bats, so with 1 swing, he feels better about things. 12th home run of the year. Teixeira grounds 1 foul. Teixeira has a 9-game hitting streak. But for the most part, it's been about a hit per game during that hitting streak, and he's still under 230 at 229. Grounded to third. Lopez fields, takes his time, and gets Teixeira for the 2nd out.
Well, especially as the season goes along, and it was a long slump for Teixeira. You mentioned about his hitting streak. You have a lot of at-bats, Michael. It takes an awful lot of hits to get that batting average up, even in the low 200s. Take it in small little pieces. If you have a bad season, or at least the start of, or somewhere in between, and it's more than just a slump, you just think about in increments. So I always thought for hitters every 10 days, and just box your month that way.
Here's Alex Rodriguez, 8 for 21 on the road trip. Picked up a couple of big home runs. His home run started the Yankees' comeback on Sunday. And then also had a big base hit in that 9th inning. That kind of got the ball rolling. That was a big victory for the Yankees against a guy like Jonathan Broxton. And you see what Alex has done the last 5 games. And Alex starting to get his swing down. You could also tell how important those games were to the Dodgers. To bring in Broxton in the 8th inning on Saturday, and then to bring him in the 9th inning in a non-save situation and keep him out there for 48 pitches.
Well, it says a lot about what the Dodgers, not only for the series, Michael, but how they feel about their closer and his ability, albeit 40-some pitches. That's not good. With the 2 days in a row, it's a lot of work for a closer.
And also people here, starters throw 120 pitches. Yeah, but they're trained to throw that. Jonathan Broxton is not. For him to throw that many pitches in a game, we'll see if it comes back and bites the Dodgers. (3-2). Popped up right side. Ichiro toward the line will make the play for the final out of the inning. But the Yankees get a run on Nick Swisher's solo shot. That was Swisher's 6th home run at home this year. He did it his 6th in the Bronx until September 14th of last year. The scoreboard is brought to you by your local Jeep dealers. Here's Jose Lopez. So Phil Hughes has a 1-0 lead thanks to Nick Swisher. And Hughes deals a strike. Hughes is 10-1. When he throws a first pitch strike, the batter hits 177 against him. A first pitch ball, the batter hits 293. Turns the whole count around. That one is driven to left field. A hanging breaking ball. Huffman dives, he can't make the play, and it caroms away from him. Backing up nicely is Granderson. Lopez thinks about 3, but he'll stop at second with a double. Well, now's your chance to take on Russ, brought to you by Toyota. Who's the greatest player to wear a Seattle Mariners uniform? Is it A, Ken Griffey Jr., B, Randy Johnson, C, Alex Rodriguez, or D, Ichiro Suzuki? Text A, B, C, or D to 70377 or go to my9tv.com. Find out the results right after the game. It's Take on Russ, brought to you by Toyota.
Edgar Martinez, too, another one. What an effort by Chad Huffman. Nice. Knowing all out, if you let it go to the wall, it's going to be a double anyway. Good effort. Pitchers certainly appreciate that kind of stuff.
Here's Gutierrez. Swing and a miss. And with that base hit, it's a 12-game hitting streak for Jose Lopez. Gutierrez, one of the astute pickups by Jack Zaredzek last year, tightening up the Mariner defense, which really gave them a jump in their win total, but it hasn't carried over into this season at all.
You know, I think he's borderline Gold Glove material, Michael. You're exactly right. Safeco Field's got a lot of room, and you really need guys to be able to run it down. And last year, as you mentioned, Michael, they basically had 3 center fielders to do that. But I think what they did by building their offense around trying to improve on base percentage rather than power and think defense, it just really has backfired. You had guys all at a position. You mentioned about Figgins, basically a leadoff hitter all the years with the Angels. You have nice players that you're having to bat 3rd and 4th.
Line drive, a base hit to center field. Lopez held up. Charging is Granderson. He bobbles the ball. Now Lopez stopped. He bobbles it again, and Lopez will now score. That's got to be an error on Granderson because Lopez stopped twice. But whatever way it scored, it's a 1-1 game.
Yeah, there's no question about it. As Lopez stopped, Lee Tinsley, the third base coach, saw the play. Nice approach by Franklin Gutierrez. Bobbles it there, as Michael says. Tinsley, third base coach, holds him up. And now Lopez eventually just ran on his own. Just could not get the handle on it. Now watch here. He's busting around. Stops. Picks up. Now Tinsley, third base coach, he just ran. Was in between. Watch him here picking up Tinsley, third base coach. Reads the stop. Go. Do I go? Bobbles it again. He's going.
So it's a single, no RBI, and an E8. And a bunt attempt by Wilson, fouled back.
Jack Wilson, another one of the pickups by this Mariner club, just really hasn't panned out. His knee, he's had some right knee troubles. Spent some time on the DL. Along with Ian Snell, a trade with the Pirates came over. Ian Snell actually accepted an outright assignment. He's in the minor leagues with the Mariners.
Keeping Gutierrez close. One, 1-2. New York Yankees baseball broadcast in Spanish. It's available by hitting the SAP button on your television. Now SAP is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota wants you to know that we're working harder than ever before for our customers. Toyota, moving forward.
Now you see the big swing right there. Nobody out. Franklin Gutierrez, nice approach with Phil Hughes going the other way. Now you got a guy who hasn't had a home run yet. Jack Wilson, and he's going for the downs there on a 1-1 fastball. Know thyself. You'll hear Charlie Manuel, the manager of the Phillies, preaches a lot. Know what kind of player you are.
I have no idea, Al.
Know thyself.
I don't know.
It's good. You do too.
No, I really don't know.
Exactly.
No, I don't.
I'll tell you.
You can tell me.
I'll tell you later. I mean, look, you got in that approach right there, Jack Wilson swinging real hard, but you know the idea of keeping the line rolling and hitting the ball up the middle opened up for something soft down the way here. No cutter.
You know, I told you the Seattle Mariners can't score. And these are the American League rankings. So there are 14 teams in the American League. They're last in runs, 13th in average, last in home runs, 13th in on-base percentage, and last in slugging. They're wasting really good starting pitching. I mean, you could be the best manager in the world. If the team can't score, they can't score. They're not going to win games. Runner goes, 2-2. Pitches high, throw to second is in plenty of time. Obviously, Wilson or Gutierrez missed a sign because Gutierrez was going as if it was a hit and run rather than a straight steal, and he looked in at home plate.
Well, he knew he was dead. A great throw by Cervelli, but he pulled up. So you're right, Michael. There was a missed sign here. Takes off, looks in, slows down. Ooh, you know what? I don't know, Michael. I don't know what. You think it was a foul ball? Normally a hit and run, they'll run about 3, 4, 5 steps a runner and look in, obviously, to see where the ball's going to be hit.
Grabbed there by Alex Rodriguez and gets Wilson for the second out. Well, you could see he's talking with Wakamatsu. I thought he was going to swing the bat.
Still run, finish. You know, even if he does it, you realize making an effort to slide. You mentioned about the wasted pitching. Boy, you know, that is so true, Michael. If you have such a disparity and such bad hitting as the Mariners have been, the Mariners pitching is third in the American League in ERA. Second in the least amount of walks behind the Twins.
At least the Twins have high batting averages.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean in
no,
pitching?
No, good.
Oh,
yeah, in the good, in the favorable
oh.
sense, yes. I mean, what it's doing, I looked over this last month. The Yankees scored 120 games in 24 games.
120 runs.
120 runs in 24 games. The Mariners 72 runs in 25 games. They're scoring less than 3 runs a game.
1-1.
Yeah, I don't care where that is. I mean, unless you have 5 stellar starting pitchers. And even then, you're asking your starters to do an awful lot by not giving up 3 runs. And that's what happens. I mean, the chicken and egg thing with hitters and also pitchers. If you know you have a lineup that's not scoring and you're starting that night and you give up a 3-run homer in the first, not that you automatically think you're going to lose, but it puts a lot of pressure on the pitcher.
Count 2-2 to Rob Johnson. Giving chase to Shera. He can't get there.
Rob Johnson, more of a defensive throw out, a runner type catcher, has not hit 198 this year. As Michael said earlier, if there is a trade to be had, the Mariners would like to get a young prospect behind the plate.
The 2-2. Foul ball.
You know, in a lot of ways, you know, and again, it just really exponentially it gets greater when everybody's struggling. I mean, clubs can deal with one or two guys. Look, even the Yankee lineup and the great lineups, they'll have one or two guys struggling. But when you have the entire lineup, it just adds so much more. And you can't afford to have a position of guys that aren't hitting. Normally, say, okay, you know what? If I have a catcher who can throw runners out and he bats in the low 200s and we're getting offense elsewhere, I'll take that.
Chop towards second. Cano will make the play, and that'll do it. But the Mariners tie the score, 1 run on 2 hits, 1 big error. Nobody left on base. Huffman made a nice try, then Gutierrez with the single, a bobble by Granderson, allowing Lopez to score.
Ball starts tomorrow night at 6, only on Yes.
Game 2 of that series tomorrow. This is a 3-game set. Now, have you ever seen Jersey Boys?
I've seen it 3 times.
Phenomenal.
Isn't it?
And the Jersey Boy.
He's obviously seen it, right?
He helped write it out.
No, but I mean,
Yes. Yes, he's seen it.
What does he think about it?
He thinks
the guy who portrayed him.
He says they did a great job. He said, very odd watching yourself being portrayed. He said, but it's really good. It is. It's a great show.
Of course I see Jersey Boys.
Jeep scoreboard 1-1. You've seen it 3 times?
Yes.
You're trying to pick up different nuances along the way?
I loved it.
That is great. That should get us a couple free tickets. Here's the 1-1 from Lee. Lofted down the left field line and out of play.
Seen Mary Poppins 3 times.
Really? But didn't you see Mary Poppins in London?
I did see Mary Poppins.
See, that's important. Because I
you
remember stuff you tell
me.
me.
All right.
What are you saying? The 1-2. Count 2-2. The home run by Cano against George Sherrill. So dramatic, that won the game on Sunday, and he was 0 for 11 previously against Sherrill. I think that shows you that Sherrill's not the same pitcher, and Cano's not the same hitter that went 0 for 11 against Sherrill. Foul back. Look how easy this swing is, Al.
Well, you know what? You talk about a guy locked in. The best batting average in baseball, ball going away. That's what's so impressive about Robinson Cano. He's second baseman. I know he's batting 5th now, and he certainly shows that power. But to be able to go the other way, 15th home run, what an exciting game Sunday night in Los Angeles.
The 2-2. The count 3-2. Cano has a 6-game hitting streak. He was 7 for 25 on the road trip. Has 106 hits, most in the American League. Ichiro with 102. How about the season Josh Hamilton's out? And it was also Cano's 9th home run against lefties this year. That one he lines to Lopez for the first out.
Looking at Josh Hamilton on that list, you know, I think we failed to mention the Texas Rangers. I know there's some ownership issue with what they can add, but the fact that we're talking about the trade with Cliff Lee. Boy, if they were able to get another starting pitcher.
Yeah, I think they're locked into what they could do right now. But I know that Nolan Ryan, their president, you know, was looking into Oswalt, who was on the market with the Astros. But it's going to be tough. Here's Posada. And there's a strike.
Well, also, too, with Cliff Lee, he's done it. He showed last year in postseason. What a fantastic postseason he had, 4-0 and 5 starts for the Phillies.
It's amazing a pitcher as good as Lee has pitched for 3 teams in 3 years. He actually started the last All-Star game at the old Yankee Stadium for the American League, for the Indians, and then gets traded to the Phillies, and then gets traded to the Mariners, and going to get traded again.
And 31 years old. You know, I thought of Cliff Lee as an older guy. He was traded from the... How about that trade, Michael? Goes unnoticed. From the Expos to the Indians. Grady Sizemore, Lee Stevens, Cliff Lee.
For Bartolo Colon.
For Bartolo Colon.
Also, Brandon Phillips was in there as well.
That's right.
And that made it even more lopsided. And that was a deal that Omar Minaya made, thinking that the Expos had a chance to win and maybe save themselves in Montreal. That was a terrible deal in retrospect.
Oof.
I mean, you gave away Cy Young Award winners, stars, and that's just a really, really bad trade in retrospect. Brandon Phillips is the real deal. Now, he didn't make it with the Indians, but he's been great with the Reds.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, when the Indians were in town, Al, I was talking to a couple of their broadcasters, and they say that most of the fans in Cleveland couldn't watch Game 1 of the World Series last year. It was Sabathia against Lee. You know, they're 1 and 2 starters in their rotation, and you know, playing for other teams. CeCe's been dealing lately.
Back-to-back Cy Young Award winners.
Yeah. And they're pretty good friends as well.
Yeah, I believe that. But when you're on a staff of guys that are of equal caliber or close to it, or you aspire to be great, it feeds off one another. It really does. The success of dominant pitching. It's one big group.
Posada works a wall. This fall, How I Met Your Mother is coming 5 days a week to My 9, one of my favorite shows. It's all about a man, his search to find his future wife, and the wild adventures his friends have along the way. It's one of TV's hottest comedies, How I Met Your Mother, weeknights this fall on My 9. You ever see that show?
No.
Oh, you got to watch it. It's great.
I'll TiVo it.
That was only the 5th walk that Cliff Lee has issued all year. So he had gone, let's see, Posada's the 6th batter of the game. He had gone 144 batters without a walk. That's the longest streak in baseball. There's a strike to Granderson.
So Banks facing the Yankee lineup so tough. Yes, Derek Jeter and certain guys will spin on it first pitch, fastball especially, but they make you work right 1 through 9.
Base hit off the bat of Granderson. Saunders Fields gets the ball in, moving to second, Posada. So Granderson with a 1-out single.
Nice approach right here by Curtis. Going away, head down, love it. Eyes on the ball, not trying to do a whole lot. Slicing that ball to left field. This is a good approach against a tough left-hander. Curtis Granderson, batting average against left-hander has not been very good this year. Back elbow in, head down. It's beautiful textbook. Doesn't pull off that baseball. Very nice hitting.
How about this stat, Al? Lee has gone full on 3 hitters already today. 21 full counts all year. So the Yankees do not let you up. They're going to make you work. They're going to take pitches. Here's Chad Hoffman. He had a big 2-run single in the 9th inning against the Dodgers on Sunday. Kept that inning alive. And also, Al, you were studying it. You did some talking to Rob Thompson, and it was one of the keys to that inning when Ethier decided to throw home.
That's right, Robbie Thompson. I went over that inning talking to Thompson, obviously third base coach for the Yankees, and he said really that throw that Ethier ended up throwing home to try to get Posada allowed Granderson to go from first to third on the play, and as opposed to keeping the double play in order.
Nice play there by Lopez. There's one, and there's two. That is a good play by the Mariner third baseman for an around-the-horn 5-4-3 double play. No runs to hit, no errors, and one man left. We go to the third. It's a 1-1 game on my 9. We'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Canada. Keep exploring. Finally, we get back to intra-league play.
You like that?
You know what? I understand the pull of interleague, though, and the attendance goes up for those games, so I think it's here to stay.
I'd like to see a little, maybe less and more of the natural rivals. I get the whole Mets, Yankee.
But there are some teams that don't have natural rivals.
Yeah.
I mean, who's Seattle's natural rival?
Seattle's natural rival would be Milwaukee.
Yep, I understand that. 1-1 is foul back.
You do, right?
Sure.
The Seattle Pilots became the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah. It's a tight way to tether them together.
The Braves and the Red Sox.
Because they used to be the Boston Braves.
Right.
As I said, there are a number of teams that don't have natural rivals. I think they've eliminated Braves Red Sox. Now I think it's Red Sox Phillies as natural rivals. And I don't understand the reason, other than maybe a short flight. Hughes did not start on Friday. That was going to be his normal turn, but because of the off day on Thursday, it allowed them to skip over Hughes. And a lot of people don't like it, Al, but I do like it. I understand the innings limit. There's such a dearth of pitching around baseball that if you want to keep this guy to 175 or 180, you should do it. That's how valuable he is to this franchise. And I like it this way better than limiting him at the end of the year like they did with Java. Saunders rips one into right center field. That is going to be trouble. It's a base hit. Granderson fields. He's going to spin and fire towards second. Saunders gets himself a leadoff double. So no one's ever really said the number for Hughes, but we assume it's about 175 or 180. And if they could keep him to 29 starts, and he averages about 6 innings a start, that'll give you about 180. So they actually skipped over 2 starts at the beginning of the year because of all the off days. They didn't bring him up till April 15th. Then they skipped him over once. I think they'll skip him over a couple more times, so that'll take him from 34 to 29, and then he could be a full-fledged pitcher. And I think right around the All-Star break, they could maneuver that way.
Well, he's deserving of an All-Star appearance, obviously, so that will be in the hands of Joe Girardi, of course.
But that wouldn't be counted as a start, which one inning is like a throw day.
That's right, and he could have him throw one inning, so that would be a side day.
The 1-0. Hot shot up the middle. It is a base hit. Saunders will round third. He's coming home, and Granderson flips the ball into second. So an RBI single for Ichiro, and it's 2-1 Seattle.
I'll tell you, Michael Saunders was not running, picking up Lee Tinsley. This ball, look out. Phil Hughes, line drive up the middle from Ichiro. Now watch Saunders, supposed to pick up third base, coach. He does and slows down for some reason. Lee Tinsley was waving him all the way. Not quite sure why Granderson didn't come up throwing, at least make an attempt to throw home. Maybe it would have been a closer play had he.
So Saunders with the double and then scores on the single by Suzuki. What do you take about them skipping him over? Are you okay with it?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I thought early on the one thing I was looking for was him being up in the zone and overthrowing, and I haven't seen that at all. He's missing with his location a little bit. The last pitch to Ichiro ended up being down the middle. That also, too, is part of the feel. He threw three sides. Normally a pitcher will throw one side and what I call touch and feel. You don't throw that much. And that's typical of what Phil Hughes does. He was able to get three side days in. And, I talked to Joe Girardi about it, and he said he had, fine work, was able to get in what he could. I don't think it's enough to really alter a guy to feel like you're way off. 10 days, look, it's
missing one start.
Yeah, you're missing one start. It's not that bad as far as really messing your time.
1-0.
And I agree with it. I mean, look, I was a guy that was abused, as a young player, and it was not, I don't think, on purpose. Pitching coach Dave Island. So, I think it's appropriate, especially if you're trying to keep him within the innings limit. Somewhere you got to find spots for him.
Island back with the team after missing close to a month for personal reasons. And he said he was glad to be back, but he was not going to get into specifics on why he had left the team. And when you talk to people, they say the pitcher that was probably going to be most affected by Island's absence was A.J. Burnett. And A.J. really has had an awful, awful month. And if anybody needs the tutelage of Dave Island, who's very good at spotting mechanical flaws, it's A.J. Burnett, so maybe they could turn him around. The 1-2. Foul back.
Well, you know what? There are certain guys, and certainly Dave Island is a heck of a pitching coach, and all it takes is to say one or two keys. And Dave Island has a couple keys with each of his pitchers, but the connection there with A.J. Burnett is special. You see the numbers in those 5 starts, not good at all. And, certainly for the Yankees' sake and A.J. to get back on track, having Island back could only help.
All right, Al, let me throw it at you. You've had good pitching coaches in your career. Does it mean that much? I mean, should that have affected A.J. that adversely?
I would say no, based on where you are as a pitcher, veteran. A.J. Burnett's been around a long time. He's had success without Dave Island. His career year was up in Toronto before he became a Yankee. So it all depends, Michael. I had some pitching coaches. They're all nice, but there were some guys where I just, they didn't really help. I mean, they were there, and, it was nice. But usually it's a key word or two, or a phrase, or maybe something within the mechanics that's a reminder that can get you right back to it, and the way they say it. Because in most cases, with pitching and hitting even, there's 4 or 5 points in every delivery that you try to maintain consistency. But it's the way it comes across.
That one's drilled deep to right field, and it hooks foul.
Oh, that cutter in on the hands there. Figgins not able to pull his hands in enough. Phil Hughes, watch this little cut fastball coming in, pulls his hands in, but that's not enough. And that's what happens with a cutter, where it comes in effectively. He's getting the barrel of the bat out in front of home plate. It's impossible to keep that ball fair. Watch the barrel get out in front of home. That's a hook, not really a hook swing, but just carrying that cutter off of the barrel.
The 1-2. Grounded to second. There's one. There's two. Turning on the speedy Sean Figgins. 4-6-3.
Well, after the long fly ball, and it had to be this play right here. Nice little chariot hop to Cano over to Jeter. As Michael says, Figgins is their big base running threat along with Ichiro. Nice little shuffle pass to Jeter. Easy, 4-6-3. Nice little scoop there from Teixeira.
Popped up and out of play.
Now, the other side, Michael, is that, you're having a guy, Phil Hughes, 10-1, having a great year. You also want to keep that mojo going. So there is that part of, I understand about the limit on the innings, wanting to protect my arm, but, I'm feeling pretty good now, guys.
He really wanted to pitch Friday, too, at Dodger Stadium, not too far away from where he grew up.
Well, if he gets his wish, it'll be real close to not too far where he grew up. Anaheim.
Check swing right back to Hughes. He knocks it down, and they'll get Branyan for the final out. Well, the Mariners take the lead. 1 run on 2 hits and nobody left. We go to the bottom of the third. 2-1 Seattle. Joe DiMaggio singles in each game of a doubleheader to run his hit streak to 42 games, and he breaks the American League record held by George Sisler. He ends up hitting it 56 straight, which is still the record in the major leagues. Is that the unbreakable record, or is Ripken's the unbreakable record?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Liner, and caught there by Wilson, and Cervelli is retired. So is it Ripken, or do you think Ripken?
Come on. In this day
but we all thought that Gehrig was unbreakable.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just such a different era with the potential of injuries and giving guys rest and the scrutiny now at the nth degree of watching every single pitch and what happens. I don't know. What was it? How many years? 13, 14?
More than that. Yeah. Here's Jeter. And there's a strike. Jeter didn't really love that call. Derek has a little small 3-game hitting streak. 8 for 25 on the road trip. He and Robinson Cano are leading in the last week of All-Star voting. Looks like they'll start for the American League. Now it's punched out to right field. Ichiro can't make the play. Ball gets behind him. But Jeter's going to stay right there because of Ichiro's arm. Ichiro seemed like he was caught betwixt and between. Should I play the ball on a hop? Should I try to make the shoestring catch? And he did neither.
Yeah, I don't know if he got a bad jump, Michael. I agree with you. Watch Ichiro, very good out in the outfield there. Comes up short, realizes that he's got to make a dive and a little scoop catch, trying to keep that ball in front enough to keep Derek Jeter at first base. Gold glove and right fielder tracking the ball, just never gets the glove to the ball. Well, actually, it looks like his glove got caught in the grass.
Yeah.
Nice shot.
Here's Nick Swisher. Had a home run in the first inning. And the pitch is low. Lee started the season hurt with the abdominal issue, and he's been battling that a lot in his career. But now totally healthy. That's Joe West behind the plate. And I believe this is the first time that Joe West has umpired a Yankee game since he made those disparaging comments about the Yankees and the Red Sox in the season opening series at Fenway. Talked disparagingly about the length of the games. Joe West is behind the plate. It was the same crew. Angel Hernandez at first, Paul Schreiber at second, and Rod Drake is over third.
Country Joe West. Been around a long time.
Popped up. Figgins makes the play. This is Joe West's quote, which he made to the Record of New Jersey. They're the two clubs that don't try to pick up the pace. They're two of the best teams in baseball. Why are they playing the slowest? It's pathetic and embarrassing. They take too long to play. I'm still flabbergasted that an umpire would feel that it's his right to say that publicly. I just am. Now, I don't know if he was disciplined behind the scenes, but he should not be giving that opinion to a newspaper as Mark Teixeira lines out to Gutierrez for the final out of the third. No runs are hit, one man left. We've played 3, 2-1 Mariners. He's twice in the World Series.
Do you know?
No.
Really?
I do not.
It's an easy one.
Oh, you know?
Yes.
Here's Milton Bradley. Nick Swisher getting into position in right field. Hot shot and a base hit. Almost hit Paul Schreiber. He had to dance out of the way. So Bradley with a leadoff single here in the fourth.
Paul Schreiber was talking to Alonzo Powell, the new hitting coach, and he was talking about Milton Bradley. You mentioned it about the bad contracts or guys that were struggling. Milton Bradley with the Cubs. Carlos Silva went over, just get Schreiber's way. And Alonzo Powell is saying, the guys that are struggling offensively, we've shown the numbers all across the board. And he said, Milton Bradley, there's nothing wrong. It's a balance issue. Really trying to get the hitters now to think more up the middle. And I just as he was explaining that to me during batting practice, watching Milton Bradley get that hit, who has been struggling not only all year, but recently of late. And that's what you'll hear most hitting coaches, with a guy struggling, get back to going up the middle.
There's a strike to Jose Lopez. Last great year that Milton Bradley had was in Texas with the Rangers. Really did a great job. At that time, the hitting coach was Rudy Jaramillo. And he signed a big free agent contract after that, but hasn't come close to being that player. The 0-1. You have to put him in the right spot, too, and he's got to feel comfortable. And he hasn't felt comfortable a lot in his career. You can see he's really bounced around, starting with the Expos, Indians, Dodgers, A's, Padres, Rangers, Cubs, and Mariners. So he has sported a lot of uniforms. That's 8 teams in 9 years. 1-1. Runner goes. Hit and run was on. Fouled away.
Well, you mentioned it because he's had some difficulties, I guess, with his anger management, right? And he had some other things where he actually took some time off this year and had some trouble in Chicago. But when you have someone as talented as Milton Bradley, and we just showed his resume, there's always that GM or that club say, you know what, we got the right guy. We got that hitting coach that's going to just keep him where he needs to be.
Line drive right at Teixeira, double play.
Well, certainly unlucky for Lopez, and the Mariners get a secondary lead there. Milton Bradley can't do anything about that. Hot smash. Nice play by Mark Teixeira. Montieri gets off. See where it's going to happen. Boom. Double play. Sometimes it's good to be lucky, and certainly right there. Good swing by Jose Lopez. Bad result.
Here's Gutierrez. And a strike. Gutierrez singled to center field in the second. Seattle leads 2-1 over the Yanks. High fly ball, deep left, Huffman back. He's on the track, he's at the wall. See ya! A home run for Gutierrez, and Seattle leads 3-1.
Well, the Mariners hitting the ball hard this inning, and I'm getting a double play out of Jose Lopez, giving the Yankees a break. There would have been a 3-run homer right there. Just missing location, Phil Hughes, right there on Franklin Gutierrez for his 7th home run. Watch the pitcher. He wants to set up away. Boom, inside. Nice hitting, actually. Ball ended up being up and in. Pull his hands in. It almost looked like from his reaction that he flew out. That ball just kept sailing over Huffman's head. That ball ended up being in. No way.
Seventh home run for Gutierrez, 34th ribby. That's the 7th hit that Hughes is allowed tonight. He's allowed 7 or more hits in 3 of his last 4 starts. You might say, is that a big deal? Well, he allowed 6 hits or fewer in 8 of his first 10 starts this year. Now, he hasn't suffered with losses, but his ERA has gone up. In his first 6 starts, 5-0, 1.38. In his last 7 starts, 5-1. That's not bad, right? 4.78. So it's almost 3.5 runs more that he's allowed in his last 7 starts. The 1-2 popped up. Francisco Cervelli will make the play for the final out. So 1 run, 2 hits, and nobody left on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 3-1 Seattle.
I forgot.
What a fraud. Let's see what the answer. Brad Penny.
Wow. That's a surprise.
Used to play with the Marlins, too. Should have known that.
I would have thought didn't Josh Beckett have a heck of a season? Or
he won game 6 on 3 days rest.
He's got a couple relief wins.
Rodriguez pops one foul and out of play. Take a look at the league leaders. They're brought to you by New York Lottery Powerball. With Powerball and Mega Millions, now you have 4 days a week to win. Play big, play both. Rodriguez has still not really found his stroke, and he's in 5th place on the RBI list in the American League. Miguel Cabrera with 66 for the Tigers. The 0-2. Fouled away.
Yeah, how about that, what you just said? He hasn't really found his stroke all year, and there he is in the tops, as he is every year when he does find it. And just watching the relationship he has with Kevin Long, the hitting coach, during batting practice, he watches different things and, just works on different parts of the pitching area and home plate. And that pitch right there, it doesn't take much for advanced scouting to know that pitching staffs try to pound him on the inside corner, and Kevin Long was throwing to him today, obviously with the left-handed starter, and Cliff Lee tried to get the same guy. Kevin Long is a left-handed thrower, and so he was throwing the batting practice and just constantly working on the little nuance of getting out of it, or just feeling better about what he's trying to do at the plate. Very good hitting coach, Kevin Long.
The 1-2 upstairs. Alex Rodriguez, the difference in the game Friday in L.A. against Padilla. Hits that long home run, which gave the Yankees a 2-1 lead. Great game. They ended up winning that one. That one is driven deep to left center field. Gutierrez back. He's on the track, and he makes the play in front of the wall for the first out. Strange. The ball to left carried off the bat of Gutierrez. That one looked like he crushed it, and the ballpark held it.
He got in. Cliff Lee did just enough. Let's take a look here. Ball pulls in, and it was up, too. That ball a little bit lower. I think Alex would get a better pass at it, the barrel of the bat. Gutierrez going back to the wall, see where he is on the warning track. He's able to track it. You talk about missing by inch. Look at Joe Girardi, missed it by that much. Isn't that the truth sometimes of hitting and pitching? Missed the barrel of the bat by an inch or so, the difference between a home run.
Cano takes pitch outside, 1-0.
See, now here he pulls his back elbow in. Now, ooh, it looks like he gets a good part of the barrel of the bat. Strong, push that ball out. And you mentioned about Michael, about when Alex Rodriguez is right. Watching him drive the ball to right center field. And we just showed Padilla a long home run in left field in Los Angeles. That's what I look for when Alex, when you say he's right, he's still having a good year. When you see him drive that ball to right center field with that ball away.
Count 1-2. Cano having an MVP type season. That one is looped toward third. Lopez will make the play for the second out. Well, Yankee fans, time's running out to vote for your 2010 All-Stars. You can help send your favorite Yankees to the All-Star game by voting up to 25 times at Yankees.com. Log on to Yankees.com and cast your ballot today. Vote exclusively at Yankees.com. Voting ends Thursday, July 1st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Not much time.
Do they still do the ballots at the stadium?
Yes.
The hole punchers?
Absolutely.
The chats. All right. Good.
High fly ball, right field off the bat of Posada. Ichiro is there, and that'll do it. So the Yankees go down in order 1, 2, 3 here in the fourth. Let's take it to the fifth. Seattle 3 and the Yankees 1. Rob Johnson lines one down the right field line. It's a fair ball, and it bounces into the seats. He had no idea. He stood at home plate. He thought that was a foul ball. So he picks up a double to start up the fifth.
Well, watching the velocities here, not only command, let's see where this is. This is ball away, keeps the ball down. Yeah, you're right. Oh, boy, that's a line drive, not a fly ball. Run. Philly uses velocity. Have you been noticing Michael here? 91-ish.
You would think that with the extra rest. You know, he's been living at 93 all year.
Got hit in the face. You see that?
No.
He's talking on the phone.
Well, that's a cautionary tale. Got to use the hands-free device. And that one is bunted back to use. Saunders, who has speed, gets gunned down. So the sacrifice successful, 1-3. That's how tough it's been for the Mariners scoring runs. So they're using the number 9 hitter almost as a pitcher.
Wow. After Saunders getting a double in his first at bat. But, hey, when you're last in most any offensive category, runner at second base, as Michael said, that's a nationally kind of play right there. Push the runner at third base, they'll sacrifice fly here.
That's not a bad deal with Ichiro due up. And now the infield is in, so that makes him an even better hitter. Drove in a run in the third inning. There's a strike.
Yeah, that's just that little extra crispy fastball that I'm not seeing tonight. That 91 instead of 94. Certainly more than enough, but it doesn't have that little extra hop at the end.
Fly ball left field. That should be plenty deep enough. Huffman with the catch. Tagging is Johnson. And he will score easily as the throw comes into Jeter. So a sac fly for Ichiro, his second ribby of the night, and it's 4-1 Seattle.
Well, with Ichiro, boy, a guy who can handle the batted ball elevated in the zone, easy pitch for any good hitter, certainly with Ichiro's caliber, to hit a long fly ball. That's all it took.
That'll bring up Figgins. Count 1-0. So we're in the 5th inning, and Seattle leads 4-1 behind Cliff Lee. 4 runs and 4 2/3 so far against Phil Hughes. And a strike. Foul back.
Part of it, talking about Phil Hughes' velocity, is that when you haven't pitched, and it's only one start, but you have some side days to where you don't get the game kind of throw or opportunity to let it go. But even with that said, now he's 75 pitches into this, 74. To be able to, I thought there might have been some element, Michael, to where he'd be overthrown because you feel too strong.
Strike 3, and Figgins is down looking. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. At the end of 4.5, we're halfway through. 4-1 Mariners. weeknights at 7 p.m. on our sister station, Fox 5. He's funny. Like him.
Where's he been?
Kind of chilling. We had him up in the booth a couple weeks ago. He was asking for you.
Right.
Acura scoreboard, 4-1, Seattle leads. The 1-0. There's a strike. Now a big-time pitcher like Lee's got a 3-run lead, feels comfortable. He's just out there dealing right now. 4-4 career against the Yankees in the regular season with a 5.02 ERA. Yankees have not really been hitting the way they expect to hit. They're 10-5 in their last 15 games, which is great. That's .667. But they're hitting just .249 during that time. So they have not yet, although they're the best record in baseball, they have not yet clicked on all cylinders, which kind of tells you that you would assume the best is yet to come.
Well, I still think those numbers certainly don't reflect a lineup that's on all cylinders.
That one is lined into center field. Another base hit for Granderson against a tough lefty. So he's 2 for 2 against Lee.
The balance of the Yankee lineup for me, Michael, is a hit like that with Curtis Granderson and when Brett Gardner's in there, the ability to run, steal, and move runners, but they still have the home run potential. And I mentioned earlier about June, 120 runs scored in 24 games. That's pretty good. And obviously, there's a lot of home runs mixed in there to not allow the batting average to be as high, but the runs are being scored.
There's a guy they've missed, and that's Nick Swisher, or Nick Johnson sitting next to Nick Swisher. But Nick's been out with a bad wrist, surgically repaired, and they hope to get him back, I guess, sometime in August. But that's been a hole in the lineup that they planned over the winter. He was supposed to be the DH with the 40% on-base percentage, and it just hasn't happened.
Well, and I think Nick Swisher, you talk about filling in fantastically. I think the year that Swisher's had has been very good. And as you say, being out of the position and lineup for what the Yankees had saw with Nick.
Fly ball to center field off of Huffman. Gutierrez is there for the first out.
With Nick Johnson, his on-base percentage, and him getting on and being a good two-hole hitter, really haven't missed much as far as Nick Swisher's ability.
And this is what the Yankees have done without Nick Johnson and without everybody clicking just yet. 15-7 in April, 16-13 in May, 16-8 this month. In fact, their 47-28 record is the best for a Yankee defending world champion through the first 75 games since they were also 47-28 in 1963. So in their previous 4 championships, 96, 98, 99, 2000, they were never 47-28 after 75 games. And by playing this well and this consistent, they're pulling away, or at least gaining significant ground on Tampa Bay, which really struggled in interleague play. And now there's been significant injuries with the Red Sox. Dustin Pedroia is going to be out for 6 weeks with that broken foot. Beckett's been on the DL.
Victor
Martinez is hurt.
Still haven't got Jacoby Ellsbury, the moves that they made. Yeah, you're exactly right. And really, I'm thinking about what you're saying there. And the fantastic teams in the past that won the championships, they've had great starting pitching. Their pitching has been stellar. And I think that's been the biggest difference. You can afford to have not your entire lineup being hot. Get your runs. Of course, you got to do better than what the Mariners have been providing their pitching staff. 1 through 5, really. I know A.J. Burnett struggled in his last 5 starts. Javier Vasquez has turned his season around. Certainly the big 3 have been very good.
Chases a pitch up in the zone, does Cervelli, and he is down on strikes for the second out. Tampa Bay is actually in Boston right now in the bottom of the 4th inning. There's a 0-0 game going on at Fenway. The Rays started the season 32-12. People are talking about breaking the Mariners' all-time single-season record of 116, but they came back down to earth. They're 12-19 since. Over the weekend, Evan Longoria and B.J. Upton kind of went face-to-face in the Tampa Bay dugout about Upton not hustling defensively, so they're struggling right now. Pitch is low, 1-0. You ever on any teams where there's dugout confrontations like that?
Yeah, that happens often, Michael. Where just the frustration mounts, and you eventually, the boil over effect. You try to keep it under wraps. Was it in the dugout?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, sometimes you can't help it. It's just one guy says something, and
right out to Branyan, and that's going to do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We played 5 here at the stadium. It's 4-1 Seattle over the Yanks. Than ever before for our customers. Toyota moving forward. Branyan grounds one foul. I thought you made a good point earlier, Al, about Branyan. The team's not going anywhere. Branyan's a veteran guy. Well, what are you doing? Well, isn't it better to just have a young player there and see what you could do with him? Isn't it better to just run Casey Kochman out at first base every day?
Mike Carp, guy they had to send down, a young player. I think it goes a couple ways here. Obviously, what he did for Don Wakamatsu and the Mariners last year with the 31 home runs, Michael, the investment here isn't much. It was a $2 million contract. You're going to owe him, the remainder. That's $1 million in this standard. This that we just missed inside corner. And what he brought was a semblance of obviously the left-handed power and what he meant offensively, but guys liked him being around, and I think if it could just lessen the load, the investment isn't great. If they turn it around and win some ball games, maybe it becomes a decision to be made come July 31. I still think it's when you're.
You mean to retrade him?
No, either keep him. I think they're going to keep him. No, the trade of Cliff Lee or not. I think it's imminent, just based on how poorly they've played.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that you're going to be unloading veterans now. You're not going anywhere. So why would you pick up Russell Branyan? I guess you've got to try to win games. But
we have a fan base.
You have a fan base, but you shouldn't be trying to win games now at the expense of the future either.
True. They gave up a young AAA outfielder and a AA infielder, kind of middle-of-the-road prospects.
And they could have signed him for nothing. They decided not to sign him over the winter.
Well, he also was shut down the last month, if you remember. He's had some back issue. And he didn't play the last month. So there was concern there. The Indians thought they would take a flyer on him. And he did a nice job with the Indians. .263, 10 home runs.
81 pitches for Phil Hughes, a 1-1.
I think much was said about what Ken Griffey Jr. being signed there last year and what he meant to the clubhouse and helping Ichiro, kind of pull him in, I guess personality-wise.
Bradley works a walk.
And then with Ken Griffey Jr. retiring, it's changed the dynamics of a lot that went on this year for them. There's a lot of people in baseball thought that the Mariners would have competed right up there with the Angels.
There's John Isner, who played in the longest tennis match of all time at Wimbledon last week. 11 hours and 5 minutes.
You said 3 days?
Yeah, it was over 3 days. They kept getting suspended because of darkness. I think Andy Roddick was tweeting, doesn't anybody have to go to the bathroom? And that includes the referees. And I mean, you're sitting there a long time. It was 5 hours a clip.
Did they?
I guess not. I'm told by our tennis fans on the crew that late on the second day they took a bathroom break. That squib toward first. Grabbed there by Teixeira. The little bobble, though, cost him Bradley at second. Now, I don't know what the first base umpire, Angel Hernandez, is saying. I thought it was a fair ball. And it is, so Bradley will stay at second. And Lopez is out.
Well, off the end of the bat, now you see the ball for Teixeira just to knock it down. Obviously, nice play, but the ball will have a kind of a cue ball spin. See which way that ball's rolling from left to right. Knock that ball down and get it out. You see a ball a lot, and a lot of the bats now in Major League guys, they'll cup the top part of the bat.
Bradley was anticipating the throw and got into flinch mode. They're going to intentionally walk Gutierrez here, and they'll deal with Jack Wilson.
Well, Gutierrez 2 for 2. This is just a kind of a hot matchup meter for Joe Girardi. Going to the lighter hitting Jack Wilson. Franklin Gutierrez obviously showing the power, the home run in his previous at bat.
Breaking ball is a strike.
Good pitch. For intentional walk, you got a guy struggling enough. Phil Hughes, this isn't one of his better starts of the year. Starting Jack Wilson off with a very good curveball. If you're just missing enough, and Phil has been nearly perfect at 10-1 record. It was said about his ERA being higher of late. The 91 is off on velocity, but you'll see a guy if they're off command wise, that's more of a problem than actually the stuff. And for Phil Hughes, stuff wise, if he's off, and so instead of 94, 95, he's in that 91, 92 range. Still more than enough to pitch with. I mentioned in the scout report, Michael, about the changeup. Remember in spring training with him, the difference of him making the rotation allegedly was him adding that changeup. Hasn't thrown too many tonight.
1-2 count. And the pitch. Hot shot past A-Rod into left field. Bradley's coming home. Here's the throw from Huffman. Not in time. And the runners now will move up. So an RBI single for Wilson, and Seattle leads 5-1.
Well, backfired for the Yankees, trying to come in with a fastball. Did come inside low enough for Jack Wilson to put a good swing on it. Huffman coming up strong, good strong throw. Milton Bradley just beating it. Cervelli trying to block the plate. He did block the plate. Bradley had to come back and tag it. On Cervelli's left shin guard. Nice job. He holds on to that. He's out. Good throw from Huffman.
Now they're going to give an error to Cervelli, allowing the runners to advance to second and third. And Dave Island now comes out and talks with Hughes. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees, but may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
Well, that's a tough error. A bang-bang play at home plate. Cervelli trying to block the plate. Kicks away.
Now, Al, I don't know if there's a right answer to this, but do you think his ineffectiveness can be attributed to rustiness or just a bad start?
A little bit of both, because my only, it's not a concern, but Michael, he's got a crispier fastball than the 91, and he's really just been right at that velocity.
Rob Johnson drills one to left field over the head of Huffman. That's a big hit, especially with Cliff Lee on the mound. 2-run score. It's a 2-run double for the Seattle catcher, and it's 7-1 Mariners.
And I said a little bit of both. And here's a reason why you'd say rusty, also part of him being off velocity-wise. That pitch is right down the middle. Command-wise, you got a light-hitting hitter in Rob Johnson, just missing. Now watch this pitch, middle of the plate, just a floating little slider, barely any break to it. Not good location. So it is both, Michael. I think the fact that he's got the 10 days and give him a rest and hold his innings down has resulted in him not being crisp.
7 runs, a season high in runs allowed for Hughes, and that's going to do it for Phil. He's going to be done 5 2/3, and the 10 hits allowed, also a season high for the young Yankee right-hander. So Joe Girardi is going to signal for his left-hander Boone Logan, and Phil Hughes, I'd say his toughest start of the year is ending as he hands the ball to Joe Girardi. Stay right where you are. This is Fios. So Phil Hughes struggled. He's allowed 7 runs. The runner at second is certainly his responsibility. And the Yankees will bring in one of their left-handers, Boone Logan. And Phil Hughes will think things over. It'll be Logan against Saunders here in the 6th. Swing and a miss. Logan's pitched better since being called up again from AAA. More aggressive in the zone.
Yeah, that 12 walks, Michael, stands out for me. That 17 innings, 12 walks is not a good ratio.
A lot of those were early the first time he was up. Now he's trusting his stuff and also really aggressive with his fastball. So quickly 0-2 against Michael Saunders.
Yeah, and of those walks, 5 in his last 4 appearances, 5 of them, 3 of them intentional.
Swing and a miss. 3 breaking balls out of the zone, and Saunders waves at them. But 3 runs on 2 hits. No errors, 1 man left. A rough night for Phil Hughes. Yankees losing 7-1. Well, the Yankees have certainly dug themselves a hole. They're down 7-1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Mariners scored in every single inning but the first against Phil Hughes. And Nick Swisher leads off against Cliff Lee. Pitch outside, 1-0. Swisher, the Yankees' only run, a home run with 1 out in the first inning. Count 2-0.
Well, you mentioned it, Michael. They had their work cut out against a very good pitcher, obviously, in Cliff Lee. This is a matter of the Yankee hitters just trying to be patient within the at-bat. Fastball away, changeup.
That one's driven deep to left center field, giving chase. Gutierrez looking up. See ya! A long home run for Nick Swisher, his 2nd of the night. And the Yankees trail 7-2. Oh, what a shot.
Patient right there. 2-0 fastball. He's already got a home run. Similar pitch, a little bit further inside, and his first at-bat pulled it. This ball went a long way, got his fastball. Lee up, obviously, with the 7-1 lead, gets a nice pitch. Good level swing. Gets through the baseball. Nice approach. Ball way out of here.
Look at the numbers against Lee. 8 for 21, and obviously both home runs tonight. Swisher's 15th career multi-home run game. So the Yankees, do they have a rally in their bones tonight? And they'll have to do it against a very, very tough pitcher. Obviously, they were down by 4 runs in the 9th inning on Sunday, and they did it against one of the premier closers in the game, in Jonathan Broxton. slow roller to short. Wilson for the first out.
Well, the thing, like most good lineups, Michael, the Yankees do this as good as anybody. With the pitch count being where it is, it's a bit of a problem here in the 6th inning, 76 pitches, but you try to get to the bullpen. Mariners' bullpen is good. It's not great. Brandon League is their setup. They really miss Mark Lowe, who's got an injury ending his season.
There's a strike to A-Rod.
David Ardsma, good closer.
Alex is 0 for 2 tonight. Now, he's had at least 1 RBI in each of his last 6 games. And his career high is 7 games in a row with an RBI. And he's done it 4 times, 97, 98, 99, and 2007. He's also starting to find his power stroke. He has 3 home runs in his last 5 games. And he hit 2 home runs in his previous 25. Bloop to right field, coming on Ichiro, and he makes the play.
A little more hang time on that hit from Alex Rodriguez as Ichiro wasn't able to come up on Derek Jeter's base hit to right field, got underneath it, tracked it nicely. That's where Cliff Lee is tough. Here he gets it a 2-1 count. Nice play, Ichiro. Takes a little off his backdoor slider, gets this little pop-up slide from Ichiro.
Here's Cano. Foul back to the screen. Ichiro with 9 Gold Gloves. He's won one every year in the big leagues. Pretty nice list there. Ken Griffey Jr. retired this year in the middle of the season with Seattle. Finished with all those Gold Gloves and 630 home runs.
Yeah, last year when they had Franklin Gutierrez and Andy Chavez and Ichiro with all the golds, they basically had 3 center fielders. You talk about an outfield that can cover a lot of ground.
Hit sharply to short. So Lee recovers after the home run by Swisher. It's been a big night for Swisher. In the first inning, he drives the ball into the seats in left field. This inning, leading off, he drives one One in the first and one in the sixth against Cliff Lee. So Boone Logan will now face Ichiro. That's why that double by Rob Johnson, the last batter of that Hughes face, that was big. Driving in those 2 runs, 5-1, it has a completely different feel than 7-1. Now it's 7-2 after the Swisher home run. Line drive, just out of the reach of Cano for a base hit. Ichiro really is a hit machine.
You know, it looks like he's bailing and he's out in front all the time, but his head is always in line with his shoulders. Talk about this little triangle. One great hitter hitting past another great hitter. But you talk about, Michael, about a guy who was born to hit or play baseball. His father at 3 years old gave him a baseball bat and a glove and started playing ball. He was actually right-handed. Made him a left-hand hitter because he was closer to first base.
Well, he's had 2 singles tonight and 3 at-bats. And he has 1,732 singles in his career. 81% of his career hits have been singles. Now, during the expansion era, in the 60s, among players with at least 2,000 career hits who debuted during the expansion era, that one is just past Boone Logan and into center field. Ichiro is going to third. Granderson flips the ball in the second. Anyway, only one other player that's had a higher percentage of singles, and that's Larry Boa. 83% of his hits were singles. Wasn't that strange? Like Logan let that ball go by.
No, you know what? He just flinched. His position, any good pitcher that can field is going to be square. See how he's sideways. His left foot is facing home and his body's facing third base. Not in good position to field. I mean, that's just his delivery. Boone Logan, you finish. You'd like to have the perfect tops card, square to home plate delivery. He just couldn't get the glove in time.
Swing and a miss by Branyan. Now, with the single by Figgins, each Mariner has had at least 1 hit. 12 on the night. And this is a team that can't score. They're up 7-2 here in the 7th. Figgins has 20 stolen bases.
You know, we were talking about Russell Branyan and him being traded from the Indians, and this is his first game as a Mariner. And, not saying that this is going to turn into the 27 Yankees Murders Row lineup, but, just the dynamic of the infusion of, okay, they're bringing in some help. Obviously, this offense has not shown what the statistics show in American League. It lasts in every category tonight. Now, granted, Phil Hughes was off, but 12 hits already in not even 6 innings.
High pop-up. Teixeira calling the catch for the first out.
That is a big league pop-up. A little slider. Russell Branyan pulling off it a little bit. There are pitches when you throw it and you say, oh, boy, I'd like to take that one back. And sometimes they just miss it. Watch this little slider up middle. You saw where Cervelli wanted it. End up being middle of the plate. See Branyan's expression.
Milton Bradley. 0-1. Bradley 1 for 2 with a walk.
This year, Bradley about same batting average both sides. First left-hander 219, right-handers 198. way below his career averages.
Runner goes, and a stolen base for Figgins. His 21st of the year.
It's a big jump there. Certain keys on left-handers where the first base coach or good runners like Figgins will pick up and say whether he looks over, he'll go home, or vice versa. Whatever the key is, that was a big jump there.
Yankees have the infield in, so Logan needs a pop-up or a strikeout. Nubbed in front of the plate. Throw to first, and Bradley is out. And the runners have to hold up. Let's check out the Mariners in-game box score, brought to you by your local Lexus dealers. Everybody's had at least one hit. The Yankees have 12, or the Mariners have 12 in all. Gutierrez with a home run. Rob Johnson 2 for 3 with 2 ribbies. Ichiro has 2 ribbies, also with 2 hits. So it's sprinkled around there liberally. Everybody's in the party. Great lid. Good looking ice cream, too. Pitch to Jose Lopez is low. Now with Figgins' stolen base earlier this inning, he's now stolen the base in each of his last 6 games. It's the longest streak of its kind in the majors this year, and now the longest, it ties the longest in Mariners history. Julio Cruz in 1981 had stolen bases in 6 straight games. The 1-0.
Yeah, that's really Figgins' game and why he was signed to the contract that he was, and just an all-around solid player. As Mike Sosa used to say, that he's a little man, but he plays like a big player. Steal base, create a lot of havoc on the bases, and has some pop. Pulling the string there. Boone Logan realizing fastball count, trying to keep this game in order here. 7-2, certainly not insurmountable, even though with Cliff Lee on the mound. 2-0 changeup, nice pitch.
Yeah, this is a big battle right here. The 2-1. Looks like he's going to work out of it. Ground ball to A-Rod, fires across, and Logan works out of trouble. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base at the end of 6.5. It's time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Seattle leads 7-2, but as Cliff Lee jogs out, we stay right here and honor America in the Bronx.
As we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
scoreboard at 7-2 Seattle. And the Yankees running out of time to try to catch up against Cliff Lee. Posada swings and misses. All right, Al, I look at Lee, right? And he's got, a decent fastball. He's got a decent curveball. Yep. Why is he as successful as he is? Why has he won a Cy Young? Because I've seen guys with better stuff that haven't won Cy Youngs.
I think a couple things, Michael. There's something within his delivery that he hides the baseball. That's one. So it would kind of backdoor cutter. Now I'll tell you this right now. High fastball, he elevates with his fastball. He's got really good command. And I know he had his walk today, which he hadn't walked anybody in however many bats that you mentioned. So with the command and 4 pitches, even though he throws a lot of fastballs, there's a backdoor cutter. So what happened? Little high fastball, big curveball, and then backdoor cutter. I think that command also, you cannot dismiss what he does. There's Channel Park warming up in the Yankee bullpen. I think his delivery of this north-south plane, he throws slightly across his body. He covers his front side. He's sneaky fast. He'll elevate high in the zone. Watch his front side here, Michael, when he stays close, what I mean by hiding the baseball and then shoots it out of there.
And Granderson has hit the ball hard 3 times against him with 2 hits and now that line drive to Ichiro.
A lot of confidence, as he should. He throws a lot of strikes. He gets in good counts. I mean, simple things that you would teach a little leaguer. Watch here. What I mean by his front side, watch his front elbow staying closed. Now, this is going to land. He's going to land slightly on the closed side, hiding the baseball, and then shoots it out. You're right. It's 91, 92. Ball comes out. That was the little cutter away from Granderson, ended up being middle of the plate. I think he does a lot of things right, but to be Cy Young, yeah, that's special. And he doesn't have that, what you're saying, that 95-plus or a hammer curveball that drops off the table. Something to be said about, great command, good location.
Chad Huffman takes a pitch low. And when you say hide the baseball out, you can't teach that. That's got to be a natural motion, right?
That's right. It's part of your delivery, and it's just something that you learn from the first time when you start throwing a baseball. So it just shoots out, and you say, okay, well, 91. Yes, 91, but it looks like 95. I was talking to Kevin Long about that before the game, and we're just, was going over, as I do, talking about the opposing pitcher. Great stuff. Hides the baseball and shoots out, and it looks like 94, 95. Now, there are other guys, Michael, that will throw 95, but it looks less because you can see the baseball sooner. I just think complete package, this guy's the goods.
Popped up. Figgins drifts back into shallow center, and a 1-2-3 inning for Cliff Lee and the Mariners. So the Yankees go down in order, and we go to the 8th at 7-2 Seattle.
finish out the year as their manager. Edwin Rodriguez was named interim, but now reporting out of Miami.
Chan-Ho Park has had a very rough go of it with the Yankees this year. They've got to straighten him out. He's not throwing anywhere near as hard as he did last year. The 7.04 ERA. For a moment there, it looked like they had straightened him out. But the last couple of times he has pitched, he has been ineffective and very, very hittable. They need him. I mean, he is an integral part of the bullpen, especially without Alfredo Aceves here. There's a strike.
And the job he did with the Phillies, you know, here's a career starter, that very, very quality starting pitcher with the Dodgers, went on to Texas, and then the Phillies used him both off and on as a starting reliever. And until he went to the pen, Michael, you're right, he was very effective. And I still think it's there. You know, we were talking about Cliff Lee, you know, stuff-wise, you look at 91, 92 mile an hour. You know, it is a command issue, even though guys don't necessarily have to not walk people to have bad command. And I think that's what's going on with Chan-Ho Park right now.
Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did. So Gutierrez down on strikes.
That's a nasty curveball right there. And what I mean by that, Chan-Ho Park's been around long enough. He knows his role as a reliever, especially you come in, you throw strikes. Now, if you get in bad counts, there's quality strikes and then there's strikes over the plate. Now, this, he gets ahead, buries a curveball, just snap-dragging. Gutierrez can't hold up on that. Gutierrez against right-handers, his batting average against is a big disparity with righties and lefties because of that breaking ball. So you could be wild within the zone, not walk people, but just make bad pitches.
Well, here's the question I have for you, though. You see his fastball there, 90. Now, once he moved to the bullpen last year for the Phillies, Al, he was consistently at 95. He had electric stuff. What happened to those 5 miles an hour? And that I think, is the difference. Because if you make location mistakes at 90, you're going to get hurt. At 95, you might be able to get away with it.
Well, you know what? Nobody's saying anything about it, but he did deal with hamstring issue.
Right.
So, you know, you need your lower half. He's not, you know, saying anything. Nobody is, and I'm not assuming that, but you have to find something somewhere, and you don't drop off 4 or 5 miles an hour in 1 year,
right?
You know, unless there's something wrong physically, and you know he looks fine, and you know he's trying to get adequate work. I mean, it's hard to get the work in his role, and it really is frustrating. The role that he was used with Charlie Manuel, he ended up being, you know, an integral part of setting up the back end of that bullpen, and you're getting used much more. That's the hardest thing for a guy in Chan-Ho Park's position in the bullpen, to be able to get the work when you're not in the game, down in the bullpen, and think game ready. Have that same effort.
Breaking ball was a strike to Rob Johnson. Rob is 2 for 3. 2 doubles. Chan-Ho has good breaking pitches working tonight. Park has allowed at least 1 hit in 14 of his 17 relief appearances this year, and that's not great for a relief pitcher. Fouled away.
It's even right there. 92. He wanted to set up away. Now, your 0-2 count as a pitcher. Nail that pitch. Not saying it's easy. And you're not robots. If it was easy, there'd be a lot of people doing it. An 0-2, that's just a scenario, a snippet within about, you know, you set up away. You want to make sure that pitch is off the plate somewhere on an 0-2 pitch. A breaking ball like that. And again, you know, when you're not pitching consistently or you're in less meaningful role, you know, it's hard to get up for it. And this guy was he was a front end starter for a few years.
And what Joe Girardi has enjoyed this year is phenomenal starting pitching. So the uncertainty in the bullpen has not been exposed that much. But you can't expect starters to give you 7 innings every time out. I mean, if that happens, you consider yourself fortunate.
There's a hanging breaking ball right there, Michael. 1-2 count, leaves it up in the zone. More consistent, better hitter, guy not batting 200, might square this ball up. This ball is inner half, getting both Cervelli and Joe West. So a little within. I mean, if I'm Chan-Ho, I'd say, okay, you know, I got away with that one. You know, even though it's a foul ball, make a better pitch.
That one is driven out to left field. Huffman back, still back, and he makes the play for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. And Chan-Ho Park did it with 11 pitches. And was on the bottom of the 8th. Yankees down by 5. On the Verizon Fios game wrap-up on My 9 News. And how about that? Cervelli leads off and takes a strike from Cliff Lee. Lee is trying to complete at least 8 innings for the 8th time in his 12 starts this year. That's why he's so valuable. Shattered bat, soft ground ball to second. Figgins is there, and 1 away. In fact, he's completed 7 innings for the 12th time in 13 starts.
Well, in his last 4 starts, he's completed 3 of them. And the other one, he went 7 innings and a loss, giving up 3 runs against San Diego. That is your true front-end horse. Not only great ERA and win games, but to be able to go deep in the game in this day and age with complete games just at a premium. He is one that will finish games.
And really the Mariners' big plan getting Lee was add 2 #1 starters. Felix Hernandez starting tomorrow for Seattle. So you got Lee and then King Felix.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Excellent. As good as any lefty-righty 1-2 tandem.
Look at Lee's strikeout to walk ratio. Blows everybody else away. That one's fouled away. That's amazing. 19-1 when the second place pitcher is Jared Weaver of the Angels at under 5-1. So he's almost 4 times what the next closest pitcher is. High fly ball, right center. Gutierrez will put it away for the second out.
I wouldn't call him a strikeout pitcher, but the fact that he only had the 4 walks, obviously that creates that terrific ratio. But he's close to a strikeout an inning. Yeah, they're doing it in their last 10 games are 7-3, so they've certainly turned it around of late. And if today's offensive performance can help them, who knows?
Nick Swisher with 2 home runs. Can he make it 3 against Lee? Count 1-0. Home run in the first. Pop up to second in the third. And then a long home run over the Stanley sign just to the left of dead center field. That was in the 6th. The 2-0. Strike.
Same scenario. Threw a fastball outer half. I don't know whether Swisher was just taken all the way there.
High pop-up. Shallow right center. Gutierrez and Ichiro. Gutierrez calls him off. And a 1-2-3 inning, 9 in a row after Swisher's last home run. We go to the 9th at 7-2 Seattle. Yankees.com or visit champions.com/ or yankees.com/champions today. Chan-Ho Park, his second inning of work. Deals to Michael Saunders a strike. Soft ground ball up the middle. Cano gets in front of it. Saunders can really fly, and there's one away. Boston is in second place in the East, and the Red Sox lead Tampa Bay 3-0. That's in the bottom of the sixth inning at Fenway. Ichiro slices one the other way and out of play.
You know, there's certain guys, and you were talking about his percentages of hits or singles. I think Ichiro is one of those players like Wade Boggs or Tony Gwynn, where if he wanted to hit home runs, I'm not saying he'd hit 30 or 40, but he would hit certainly 15, 20. But to know thyself, you know, here's a guy, you know, was a right-handed hitter as a little boy. His dad said, hey, you're really fast. You're going to be 2 steps closer to first base. Learn how to hit left-handed, bang the ball on the ground, especially the left side. You're going to have 20 hits a year. I mean, I think there were certain hitters where you knew that they were going to hit the ball hard. I felt that way about Tony Gwynn, and certainly Ichiro is that type of hitter. And there looks like there's a lot of movement, but he really stays back. It looks like he's bailing a little bit. A lot of Japanese hitters, they kind of flail out to the right side here as a lefty toward first base. But he keeps his head back, and he's got tremendous hand-eye coordination.
I think he'd be a 25 home run hitter, Al. If he because you could see him in batting practice.
Yep.
He drives balls easily into the seats. He's that powerful, very compact power. But he's content with putting the ball in play, letting his speed take over. And we told you 81% of his lifetime hits have been singles. That one is grounded to Alex Rodriguez. 2 outs. So Ichiro looks like he'll finish his day 2 for 4 with a sac fly. And that's going to bring up Sean Figgins. Figgins had such a great situation going with the Angels, played third base, was the igniter for Mike Scioscia. But the Angels didn't want to pay him what Seattle offered. 4 years, $36 million. He gets $9 million a year. And you have to wonder, if he had to do it again, would he take the money? And the money's important, but he's in a losing situation now. And the team he left continues to win. But they need him as well because they've had a hard time filling the third base spot. Brandon Wood has really struggled. 9th season in the bigs. He won the World Championship with the Angels in 2002. An all-star last year. And he plays all over the place.
You know, and obviously, Michael, we don't know what the negotiations were and how close the Angels were. And yeah, you're right. I mean, you want to be in a comfortable situation as he was with Anaheim. But in the end, you know, you go with the team that shows the most interest.
You know one thing that the Angels do, Al? They're very comfortable doing this. They draw a line in the sand, even with their own people. K-Rod, they wouldn't give him the money. Lackey, they wouldn't give him the money. Figgins, they wouldn't give him the years. I think they offered him 3 years. And that's just how they are. And they will cut bait with a player. Vladimir, Mark Teixeira, this is what we're offering you, and they're not going to get into bidding wars, and then they'll just move on. And that's the philosophy of the organization. The 2-2. Served into left field. Huffman is there, and he'll put it away. So a good 2 innings for Chan-Ho Park. 6 up, 6 down. Bottom of the ninth coming up. Did the Yankees have a rally in their bones? 1,000 ATMs nationwide. Chase what matters. And by your Tri-State Cadillac dealers. Visit CadillacTristate.com to find a dealer near you. Well, Cliff Lee is at 101 pitches. Don Wakamatsu sends him out to pitch the ninth. And he's trying to nab his third straight complete game, which doesn't happen very often in baseball today. And that one is ripped past the diving Lopez and down into the corner. Teixeira rounds first. He'll go to second. A leadoff double by Mark Teixeira here in the ninth.
Teixeira getting what it looks like a little cutter inside, right past Lopez's outstretched reached arm there, down the left field line. Teixeira's 14th double, starting off that ball, cuts inside. Good swing, gets that barrel of bat on that ball. Good start to this ninth inning for the Yankees.
Well, here's Alex Rodriguez. Yankees down 7-2. Rodriguez with an RBI in 6 straight games, but he's 0 for 3 tonight against Lee with 3 fly balls to the outfield. 2 to right, 1 to center. Pitch outside. Some action in the Mariner bullpen. Brandon League, hard-throwing right-hander, formerly of the Blue Jays. A-Rod's trying to make it 7-4 with that swing to count 1-1. Phil Hughes started for the Yankees after skipping his start on Friday, or having his start skipped. Didn't have his best stuff, throwing at about 91 miles an hour. Gave up the most hits and the most runs of the year. And the Yankees are trying to climb back against a very classy left-hander, Cliff Lee.
That was his last couple complete games, Michael. 115 pitches his last start against Chicago, and then 106 complete game, 106 pitches against Cincinnati.
Grounded to short. Jack Wilson. 1 away. The last Seattle Mariner to complete 3 straight games, Randy Johnson, back in 1998, so it's been 12 years. 106 pitches for Lee, 72 strikes.
Great ratio. It's 2-1, over 2-1.
Here's Cano. He shut down the leading hitter in the American League at 356 on 0 for 3 tonight. Lined out to third, popped to third, and grounded to short. Yankees need some base runners. They've got Teixeira at second. That one is chopped past the diving Lopez and down the left field line. So now the Yankees have runners on first and third. The throw gets away. Teixeira will score. Cano moves into scoring position. Yankees now down 7-3. So Teixeira's double gave him a 10-game hitting streak. And now Cano's single gives him a 7-game hitting streak.
Well, Cano getting the ball past Jose Lopez right down the third base line. Michael Saunders picking the ball up, aggressively coming after second base, thinking that Cano was going to run there. Bad hop by Figgins. Figgins couldn't stay in front of it. Just poor play right there, advancing the base runners. Obviously scoring a run there for Teixeira. Teixeira was not going home on the play there, being down by 5 runs.
That's an E7 on Saunders. No RBI for Cano. Here's Posada. Crowd of 45,780 finally having something to cheer about here in the bottom of the ninth inning as the Yankees now trail by 4. Posada walked in the second, the only walk by Lee, and flied out to right, struck out looking. Count 2-0. And now what Wakamatsu is thinking about, is there anybody in the bullpen that I could bring in that I trust more than even a tiring Cliff Lee? And that's the answer he's got to come up with. And right now he'd rather have Lee. 3-0.
With Granderson on deck and then the 2 righties, I got to believe he's got a shot at Granderson, and that'll be about it.
Runner at second, still 1 out. 3-0 count on Posada, who walked in the second. Posada tried to sell ball 4, but Joe West not buying. Count 3-1. Crowd boos, but that was a strike. That one is lined into right center field. Giving chase is Ichiro. He can't get it. It bounces into the seats for a double. Scoring is Cano, and the Yankees are still alive. It's 7-4 Seattle.
Posada getting the ball up out over the plate. 3-1, little fastball, stays on it, has enough of it to get it past Ichiro for his 10th double on the year, 28th RBI for Jorge Posada, making a game of this now. Nice piece of hitting going the other way. Starting to get interesting here, 3 runs.
Now Rick Adair, the pitching coach, will go out and talk with Lee. Yankees get one more runner on, and that brings a tying run to the plate. He's the man behind the mask. Tonight after the game, Francisco Cervelli reveals which 2 catching legends influenced him the most. It's on the Verizon Fios game wrap-up on My 9 News. Well, this is the first time since May 21st that Lee has allowed more than 3 runs. The runner at second, his responsibility. They're leaving him in to face Granderson, and Granderson has hit the ball hard all 3 times. 2 singles, and then he lined out to Ichiro in the 7th. Being away from Safeco, not the best thing for the Mariners. They've only won 11 road games all year. Yankees trying to stop them from getting number 12. There's a strike on the outside corner. If he doesn't get Granderson, this is probably the last batter for Lee. Popped up. Wilson makes the play for the 2nd out. And the Yankees are down to their final out.
Yeah, he's taken down Wakamatsu right to the last out here. 2 outs are going to give Chad Huffman a shot at it.
Huffman wrapped into an around-the-horn double play, flied out to center and popped to second. Sunday, Huffman had a big hit and a come-from-behind 9th inning. With the bases loaded, 96-mile-an-hour Broxton fastball lined it into right field. A 2-run single. But not tonight. That one is popped up. Wilson is there. And in foul territory, he makes the play as Seattle beats the Yankees 7-4. Cliff Lee with his 3rd straight complete game. He goes to 7-3 on the season. And Phil Hughes takes his first loss for the Yankees since May 22nd. So the Yankees gave it a run here in the 9th inning, but fell short. They scored 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. So the Yankees, in the first game of their homestand, they lose to the Mariners 7-4. We've got plenty of awards to give out, and then the Verizon Fios game wrap-up. Stay right here on My 9. Mariners beat the Yankees 7-4. Stick around.